be bringing in the next program here, which is going to be the panel session. And of course, the information that we are going to get there is going to be disbursed by various panel members, that will be introduced here. And of course, we have the moderator of this panel. He's going to also have another session with us after this panel session, which, instead of me having his profile read twice, I think it's very much important for me to just do the whole thing as a whole, so that during the his presentation, we'll not need to do this again. The moderator is going to introduce other member of the panel, which is not going to be my assignment. But let me just quickly tell us briefly about our moderator. Our moderator's name is Mr. Tokunbo Smith. He is a chartered information technology professional and a consultant with over 35 years of experience. He is a certified data protection solution engineer, in Nigeria, and also is a fellow of the Institute of Information Management of African Nigerian Institute of Training and Development. Also, he designed and executed the first training on information security for Lagos State government. Wow. In 2006, and organized the first data privacy seminar for Lagos State government in 2014. He is the founder and chairman of Data and Knowledge Information Privacy Protection Initiative and an advocate of data privacy and data protection. He consults and facilitates for government, corporate organization, and professional institution. He was the chairman of a session on national policy dialogue on data protection regulation organized by Nigerian Digital Identification for Development. Wow. He is a public commentator, moderator, and discussant on television and radio on information management. And finally, he is a recipient of the following award: Information Management Personality, Institute of Information Management of Africa, and so much more. Mr. Smith is one of the icons that we have when it comes to data protection in Nigeria. And please welcome with me to the platform, Mr. Smith Tokunbo. We have just, the time allotted for you, and I know it's going to be well managed. Thank you. The floor is for you, sir. Have a wonderful time. Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Akongwe. Thank you very much for that introduction. Well, we are here this morning. First of all, let me stand on existing protocol, and it's my duty also to introduce the panelists for today. I have with me here Dr. Kunle Ajayi, Medical Director, Clearview Hospital. Also, Mrs.Champion-Afolayan Olubukola, Southwest Zonal Coordinator, Health Records Officers Registration, Board of Nigeria. And finally, Mr. Adeoye, Damilare, Adetayo, Founder, Medical Law Hub. Well, we are here to discuss very important issue this morning. And because of the situation in the global world, in the health industry, this is a very, very rare occasion whereby you see experts coming together to discuss the present and the future, because the future is about telemedicine.
Hello.
Like it or not.
Yes. Hello. I've joined. Hello, okay. Madam. I've joined.
You are welcome. You are welcome, Mrs. Champion.
All right, sir.
So, yeah, we have the one lady with me and two men joining me here as panelists. So this morning, we are going to look at telehealth.
Okay, when you turn camera on.
Ecosystem.
And
not only that, we want also to know that what are the barriers, what are the benefits we are going to get through these technologies, so that anywhere in the world, wherever a patient is, he can have access to healthcare system. Unfortunately, I know Lagos State is doing something as regards that, and that's why we have smart health information platform, which is known as SHIP. And I know a lot about the SHIP, also, Dr. Kongwe also know a lot about the SHIP program as well. So this morning, we won't take so much of your time. We always make sure that we are so brief in our questions and answers so that everyone can gain from it. So I think I will start with Dr. Kunle Ajayi, the Medical Director, Clearview Hospital. Are you in the house, Dr. Kunle Ajayi? Doctor, well, I can see Mr. Adeoye. Maybe I should start with Mr. Adeoye. Mr. Adeoye, good morning. You are welcome to this program. And I know Mrs. Champion-Afolayan is also coming.
Morning, sir.
It's already in. So, Mrs. Afolayan, good morning. Mrs.
Good
Afolayan,
morning,
good
sir.
morning. Oh,
Good morning, sir.
Good. Oh, good. Mr. Adeoye, let me start from you this morning. Can you just give me a brief about the agenda of today, what you feel you can contribute before we go into questions, and then we educate ourselves a little bit. Thank you very much, Mr. Afolayan. Mr. Adeoye, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have the podium to speak on telehealth as regards Nigeria, of course. Really passionate about this, and I can see clearly that I seem to be the only medical lawyer here, which is something that I've always fought for, that health issues does not only concern health workers or tech experts. Everybody must come on board to see how best we can contribute to the ecosystem. And that takes me to what we are here to discuss, which is the collaboration, the power of collaboration in the telehealth sector of Nigeria. So collaboration and data are critical in the telehealth ecosystem for Nigerian regulatory bodies. We cannot dispute that fact. In fact, and these regulatory bodies can expand their understanding of various sectors, improve regulatory frameworks and stimulate innovation by collaborating. So we have to come on board, see how we can bring in our expertise for development and, of course, for business gain. And by so doing, we realize that we are creating a suitable system for ourselves, our businesses, our government. So data-driven decision making, allows us, to have evidence-based methods, which can also help the regulatory bodies to make efficient policies. And permit me to be speaking basically or focused on policies, because I'm a lawyer. All I know is law, policies, and how we can implement it. And over the years, my training has been focused on how we can get people on board. And when I say people, I mean experts, whether you're in the telehealth sector or you are a health practitioner. How can we come on board to ensure that we have a compact system that can work for Nigerians? So in Nigeria, it's quite dynamic, and it is just important that we all come on board and work together. However, over the years, one thing I have discovered is that we are not united in that sense. We need to come together as stakeholders in the sector, see how best we can work together to promote the telehealth ecosystem in the country. And by so doing, we'll see that we have everything it takes to actually get treatment to every angle, both urban and rural areas in the country. Thank you very much. I will hold on for now because there's so much to say.
Thank you very much. I'm always very impressed when I see lawyers, the learned people, in any forum I am. And I want you to know one thing today, that as a learned friend and you are interested in telehealth, I think it's a very good thing. So that when there are policies to be laid down, you are going to look at it from the legal aspect, which is very, you are not going to be looking at it from the medical or technology aspect alone. Right now, I have Dr. Kunle Ajayi, who is just coming in from the theater, and I know you will have to say something also concerning telehealth. You are welcome, Dr. Kunle Ajayi.
Good morning, sir. Sorry, I'm just joining. The surgery I was in took a bit longer than expected, and I had to just quickly excuse myself to join you. I'm very, very sorry for coming late. This is not my usual way, and
No, you're welcome.
I apologize. So,
We can
telehealth
understand that.
for us has been a big boon because, in fact, COVID actually showed us that we could do a lot of things remotely. And during that time, a lot of people were able to still access healthcare, access information, access training, attend courses. We're able to do everything online, without having to visit the facilities. And then we're also able to collaborate with people who were not even, in Nigeria, people in the UK, people in India, people in other places, to get knowledge and skills transferred to younger ones. So it's an area that's interesting to me, and I'm very glad to be a part of this discussion. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunle. Now over to you, our dear lady, Madam Afolayan. What contribution will you make to this telehealth discussion this morning concerning records management system?
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
First and foremost, I want to appreciate the speaker and for this good initiation that is being carried out now. Unlike before in our profession, the health information management, just as the speaker have said that COVID-19 has really made people, especially the profession, to see it in another diverse way that data and information can go beyond just records alone. For instance, now, let's use the example of COVID-19 that was just mentioned, which has made us to see what is happening in another country. I don't need to be in India, for instance, shall you understand? I don't need to be in India to see how their records is being done, but with the help of that COVID and the way their information is being managed, I can see through the use of data and information. Because I joined lately, this is just the little contribution I can make for now, please. Thank you, sir.
Very much, Mrs. Afolayan. Now I want to go back to our legal luminary, Mr. Adeoye. You talk about collaboration, and for the simple reason that you are coming from a different background, not medical environment, not pharmaceutical, let's use one word, from health industry. When you are talking about collaboration, what exactly do you mean by collaboration, and how can you go around with other professions, like those people in the IT, those people in the other professions? So what do you think we should do in respect of collaboration?
Very, very vital question, sir. Thank you so much for that question. We need to take a back seat and look at the issues that we have in first. Because before we can talk about collaboration, we have to be able to work in unison. We have to be able to work together. When that we have some distrust in our system, then there's a problem. And what we will find out, and what I have found out, is that there is no trust. Even for lawyers, it's difficult. They will say when you hear a lawyer, it's more or less like court. It's not like that. Everything doesn't start and end with court with a lawyer. And we need to start seeing how we can come on board together, help formulate policy that would help the system. Now, in terms of collaboration, we have the regulatory bodies. The regulatory bodies are majorly made of the government, and the government needs our help. Now, we have doctors like Dr. Kunle Ajayi just came out of this operation room. They're on the field. They know what they are dealing with. They know the problems. We need them on board. We need the policy makers, the legislators. Need them on board. We need these regulatory bodies. What are the challenges they are having? Bring them on board. In short, we need all stakeholders on the table to actually bring out the issues that we have in the system. And one thing that we realized is that the medical law hub that I founded in our trainings is that there are so many loopholes that we need to cover. For instance, we realized that a lot of healthcare providers are technically gifted, but when it comes to knowing the policy, it frustrates them, which might be one of the reasons why we have the Japa syndrome, because they don't understand the system anymore. So we need to educate ourselves, give medical legal trainings, get ourselves on board with the ethical issues, concerns, so that we can now have the trust on board to further the development of the telehealth sector. So it takes all to go forward. No one should be left behind. And with that, we can do so much better than what we are doing now. And by the way, we have the competency. That is not the issue. But we need constant, regular trainings. Also, another thing we must look at in collaborating is we need open arms from the regulatory bodies, just like we need from the private sector. The regulatory bodies must create avenue for the private sectors to come on board. I was here yesterday listening to the Commissioner of Health for Imo State, and I was very happy when he said, our doors are open. Come to our state. We want this development. These are the things that are necessary for growth in this sector, because it's a form of collaboration. So by so doing, we'll go a long way in solving the issues, whether it is urban or rural area, especially the fact that we're in a critical state. Our health sector is in a critical state. We have about one doctor to about 4,000 Nigerians as we speak. It is really critical, and we cannot shy away from it. We have to look for alternatives, and telehealth presents that alternative for us. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeoye. Dr. Kunle.
Yes, sir.
I want to take you up from what Mr. Adeoye just said concerning the healthcare and the collaboration. I know you must have worked for public institution and also a private institution.
Yeah.
From your exposure and experience, do the regulators we have right in Nigeria, do you think they are up to date? Do you think they are really performing the functions expected of them?
Thank you very much, sir. You're asking me a question that you already have an answer to. They are trying. I mean, sincerely speaking, because I'm talking from the experience of Medical and Dental Council. I'm in a meeting. So, I mean, for over the past few years, they have actually made it very mandatory for us to register annually for our licenses online. We don't have to go to the offices anymore, you know. But the process of even registering yourself on the portal can be very, very, very frustrating. Eventually, you will get it. But I've had to register on the council of other countries, and sincerely speaking, those things are very seamless. Here, as you're trying to register, somebody will say you've not done indemnity, you've not paid for indemnity, you cannot move forward. You've not paid NMA levy, you cannot move forward. There's a building levy that's supposed, you know, so all those things are tied to the registration process that it makes it so difficult to, you know, to register and then move. I mean, it's not the license you're trying to get, you're trying to pay for, and then there are so many stumbling blocks along the way. Eventually, like I said, we will get it, but it's frustrating. And some doctors that don't even want the stress will just pay someone to go and do the wahala for them, you know, and it shouldn't be like that. And I'm sure that it can be done better. There are other, you know, maybe companies that they can engage that will probably make it easier for doctors and other professionals to register seamlessly. But having said that, they are trying, but we are in an environment where, you know, things just take time to evolve. And I'm hoping that with time, it will get better. My matron was trying to renew her license for under the Nigerian Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, and they will send her an OTP, and before she can input the OTP, that one has expired. She did that more than 15 times yesterday, and I said, "Yeah, it's good innovation. Nobody wants to come to the office, but it shouldn't be this hard to do things." And I give examples of how easy it is to open an account when you're outside this country from the comfort of your home. You don't need to do anything, just go on, and within 5-10 minutes, your account is open. Nobody's asking for KYC, this, that. So there are so many things that still need to be done, sincerely speaking. And like the previous speaker said, we can always collaborate. Most of the innovation we are getting now is from the private sector. Many of the government institutions are sort of slowed down. They just do a lot of basic things and they're happy. If you are talking about open heart surgery now, it's the private sector. Talking about technology-led innovations in this country is private sector-led. So the government is playing catch-up. I think that we can do better. That's the best I can. But I know they are trying their best. Many of these people are sincere, but the system tends to frustrate them. I'm hoping that with time, anyway, things will get better. Thank you, sir. Hello? Are you still there, sir? I think it's off. Hello? I think our moderator is frozen. Mr. Adeoye, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes,
okay.
I can hear you. I think
Mr. Smith is off.
I think there's an issue with the connection of. Okay, it's back. It's back now.
Okay, it's back. Okay.
Over to you.
Okay. Yeah.
You can continue, Dr. Kunle.
No, I rounded up. I maybe didn't catch the last part. I just said that we can do better. That's all I have to say. Well, we can always do better, and that's the truth.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Before I come back to the lady, my Mrs.Afolayan, I want to go back to Mr. Adeoye because you said certain things which interest me a lot. By virtue of your profession as a legal man, and what Dr. Kunle has just said, in what way can we make it a seamless? How can we do it? Do we need to invite the lawyers, or do we need a new law, a new regulation, or a body that will now oversee other regulatory organizations now?
So thank you very much. I'm very well aware of the issue raised by Dr. Ajayi. And hello, I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes,
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm very aware of what Dr. Kunle Ajayi said, because I have a brother who happens to be a doctor as well, and he always complains about this process. And what I have realized is that the laws are there. We have numerous laws that are just sitting down there. So the problem is not really about the law. The problem is about the way we go about the implementation of the law. And while we still need other laws, we need to find a way to implement laws seamlessly. And like I said, there is a need for constant training, because one of the things we do in my office is to train health professionals. And one thing we have found out, of course, we represent them in court as well. And I can remember vividly that I once had a client that told me, "Lawyer, counsel, how come I'm just hearing this for the first time? I didn't know this." Unfortunately, the law does not deal with pity. And you cannot say because you are ignorant, it won't take its effect.
Yeah.
So it is a problem that we have the lacuna of awareness. Now, for instance, recently we've had 2 laws, and I am certain that a good percentage of healthcare providers don't know about these laws. In 2023, we have the Mental Health Act, we have the Data Protection Act, and these things affect health providers. How do we now get it to them? Because they are busy. So there must be time for training, medical legal training, constantly. That is one. Another thing is we need specific laws that are so seamless and so simple, not ambiguous in any way, for every person to understand. When we have that, it makes it easy for doctors, healthcare providers to just tap into it and know, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. And it's easy. Another thing is we need policies, regulations that will help them, like we call it practice direction. So you know you are not allowed to do certain things. It makes it easy. Because sometimes, even as lawyers, we look at some laws and we realize that they just want, it's like it's made to make health providers just fail. In terms of how do you want them to know? How, because they are too technical. They are just too technical, which is why we take it personal when it comes to training health provider, because prevention is always better to prevent, because there are a lot of innocent healthcare practitioners out there who just do the wrong things and they think they are doing the right things, because laws are dynamic, they are not static. So if you thought what you knew 20 years ago is still in operation, you are wrong. So there's a need for updates in all our clinics, in all our associations, so that at the end of the day, everybody is on the same road, pathway. And they won't be like, when did this come up? When did you start restricting us from doing this? And that is why I said earlier that they are critical stakeholders in this sector. So they must be on board. And mind you, telehealth creates another situation whereby those who have not taken oaths, physician's oaths, now have access to medical records. That's another problem. Because how do you justify, now you have a telehealth system, you are bringing on doctors who are taking oaths to protect patients' record? Because we've had cases like that. And now they are not in charge of it, but they are the ones administering treatment. When issues come up, let's say there's a leakage, who takes responsibility? Unfortunately, our cake law does not bring down the law for the doctor. The doctor must still be careful to ensure that such medical record is kept to the highest standard, the best standard expected of him. Unfortunately, that is a problem, because now they are not in charge of these medical records. Because as much as telehealth is the way forward, it is also disruptive of the traditional system. So we must find a way to come together. Look, maybe there will be a sort of responsibility, legal responsibility on telehealth experts or companies to ensure that in that sector, in the telehealth sector, they can be held responsible, and the whole responsibility will not be on the doctors. Because as we speak in Nigeria, even though we have in the National Health Act, I try to avoid speaking in legal terms, but I have to make reference to this law. It already moves from calling patients to users because of the issue of telehealth. Users can be anybody, and it kind of gives responsibility to anyone holding the data of a patient. However, it still does not alleviate the burden on the doctors. And I always tell my clients, I pity you, because one allegation of this can destroy the whole practice you've had, no matter the years. So they have to be careful as well, and that is why they must always come on board as stakeholders. These are the issues we are having. And so when we are making the laws, it involves them. They know what they are dealing with, and they can say, yes, we are aware of this. Because the laws should not just be a sword, it should also be a shield for healthcare providers. Thank you very much.
I want to know whether Mrs. Afolayan is still around. I can't see you. Mrs. Afolayan, are you still around? Mrs. Afolayan. Mrs. Afolayan, well, if we cannot...
I don't think so, sir.
Dr. Adeoye,
Mr. Afolayan, I think
sorry, Doctor. Yes, Doctor Ajayi.
Yes, sir.
Our legal man has just said something which I'm really interested in, and it's affecting your profession so much because you are holding sensitive data. From your own perspective, you said majority are not even aware of the new law of Data Protection Act. I want you to comment on that, about the new law. From your own perspective, your colleagues, how many of them? So I'm interested because you are dealing with sensitive data.
Mr. Adeoye is also in the field. If even me that you're asking, I don't think I know what the law says about it.
He's in the medical. He is a legal man. Because you are practicing more of as a practitioner in the medical.
But common sense dictates that we should protect patients' confidentiality, as much as possible. He has said some things, that are very, very interesting to me. And one of them is the fact that some people who are not even doctors have access to your information. I mean, how do we ensure that those people don't take the information and sell it? When you wonder why some of our politicians decide not to have their treatments in Nigeria, it's not because they don't. It's not because they think we don't know what we are doing. They know that there are a lot of good doctors here. But they may also be afraid that the information will get leaked to the press, by non-medical. It's not even the doctor that's managing the patient. It's actually the people that work with the doctor that might leak some of those sensitive information to the public, and that puts everybody in trouble. So for me, what he's saying is right. A lot of us have no idea what the Data Protection Act is all about, and we will need enlightenment. Because it's not just promulgating laws and bringing acts into force, and then the people that it directly affects are not even aware. I mean, who are the stakeholders? Were they invited to even have any inputs into all these things? So it's not just making laws and leaving them in a vacuum, or like I said, there's a lacuna. People just make laws and then they wait for you to fall into the lake so they can pick you up and make money off you or just punish you for your ignorance. So it's imperative that everybody is brought up to speed. And I'm not sure how that will be done. I don't know whether it's public enlightenment. I don't know whether it will be conferences. I don't know whether it will be by sending newsletters to all registered practitioners and things like that. But there should be a way to disseminate information to practitioners to make it easier for them to even comply with whatever it is you have installed or promulgated. So there is still that need for collaboration, like Mr. Adeoye said earlier. In fact, there's a big lacuna that needs to be filled, and it's information. If people get information, they don't get in trouble. And there are a lot of hospitals that use EMRs, non-proprietary electronic medical records that are virtually useless because they don't even protect anything. Anybody can access information. Once they're in front of the computer, they can do whatever they want, whatever information you put in there. They can alter whatever it is you've done. They can erase, so many things that you've written down. So, there should be a minimum for anybody starting a practice or employing medical records. There should be a minimum standard. And if that minimum standard is not there, then there's no point starting. Because patients' data will need to be protected. Confidentiality needs to be respected as much as possible. And of course, by so doing, we increase confidence in our practice. So that's my submission. We need a lot. There's still a lot to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mrs. Adeoye, sorry, Mrs. Afolayan is back. I know you had a problem. I want to, from your own perspective as a record professional, now, what effort have you made? And I know you will have worked with both private and public. What effort have you made to train doctors and paramedicals on record management, because it's going to affect telehealth a lot. Can you hear me, Mrs. Afolayan?
Cheers.
Mrs. Afolayan, I said, what effort have you made? Your body, your regulatory body, because you work as for, you are a zonal coordinator for Health Records Officer Registration Board of Nigeria. It's gone again. So
she's still here.
What effort have you made
maybe
to
I'm
make
muted.
sure records are kept very well in hospitals? I want you to say something concerning your body. Hello? I think it's having a problem.
I think she's having a network problem.
Okay, in that case, let me just quickly ask.
We have just
ask.
1 minute. We have less than 1 minute, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now I want you to just in 30 seconds, Mr. Adeoye, your takeaway point, your advice to the participants.
So thank you very much. I will just list some things that we must put in place if we want to actually grow together, because we need a secure environment. We need a system that can be trusted. There are some things that we need to put in place as public and private sectors. And if we get those things right, we're on the right path. The first thing is we need clear regulatory framework. Clear regulatory framework will help us so much in terms of obedience from the citizens, from the experts, and the stakeholders. Another thing is we need guidelines for innovation. We need, when people come in, they need to know what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. I've had clients that it was so hard for them to know, international clients, that it was so hard for them to know where to put or what to do when they want to start their company in Nigeria. With risk assessment and mitigation, things happen. We need to know how to cure these errors. Data encryption and access control. Who is in charge? Who do we hold responsible when things go wrong? We need to get that right. Then we need to have regular audit and assessment.
Thank you. Can I have a word from Dr. Kunle Ajayi, your advice?
Thank you very much. What I would just say is that we it goes without saying, we need more collaboration between the public regulators and private practitioners, because it's important that we are all brought up to speed when it comes to all these regulations, so that we don't fall afoul of the law. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Mrs. Afolayan, thank you. Dr. Kunle Ajayi, thank you. And our legal luminary, Mr. Adeoye, thank you. You are all welcome. And also our event.
Thank you very much, sir, Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful moderation. We really appreciate even the great knowledge that have been displayed here from our great panelists. Talking about Dr. Kunle Ajayi. In fact, I was very much wrapped in what you were talking about. And of course, that was the real picture of what is going on. And Barrister Damilare Adeoye also, said a lot of things. There are so many lapses, there are so many gaps that we are seeing in our healthcare systems today. Even talking about the way we handle data, how the healthcare providers handles data. These are so many things that we really need to look into. And thank God for the Nigerian Data Protection Act that has just been signed by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, into law, which is really, an indicator that, this is not going to be a business as usual, that things is not going to take the same way it as we have been handling it before. So everybody needs to really sit up now. Otherwise, they are going to really, be faced with the wrath of law. We want to thank Mrs. Champion-Afolayan as well, even for, a little contribution. The network has really been, disturbing her, and we know that if that did not happen, she would have really, bring a lot of things on the table. Now to our, able moderator, Mr. Smith Tokunbo, you know, we really appreciate you for this great, you know, work that you have done, and to your team as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We still want you to stay hang around because there's some questions that will be coming, you know, towards your direction as regards the topic we just treated. And we believe that, you know, you'll be available to handle them. Thank you so much. While we move into the